Hello everyone, welcome to Media Matters Entertainment. Today I'm going to talk about the DC streaming service and the first episode of the Swampthing TV show that just dropped this weekend. So the streaming service itself, it's alright. I don't know how much longer it's really going to last because I don't imagine it's doing that great for them, but it's, when it first came out, the digital comics on it, the library was kind of small, but they've been expanding it. They've been listening to that criticism. It's been getting a lot better. They have a lot of good stuff that I'd recommend on there if you want to read it cheap. Personally, I prefer physical copies, but I still will read it if I'm on the road or something. There's a lot of good stuff on there. They got a Jack Knight Starman from James Robinson. They got Saga of Swampthing, of course. Got a lot of JSA stuff on there, which I like. But yeah, they got pretty much all the cartoons on there. So if you got kids, that's great. Or if you're like me and just grew up on them, I like rewatching them. They got... The movies are a bit weird. They keep taking and removing, adding and removing stuff, which doesn't... It's a streaming service specifically for DC stuff. You'd think they don't... It's not like they don't have the rights for everything. There's no reason it can't all be on there. But, I don't know what the issue is there. Another problem with it is accessibility. It's not on... You can't get it on everything. It's not on Xbox or PlayStation, which is a little annoying. But they also have original... Also they have a lot of the old TV shows like the 90s Flash show with John Wesley Shipp, who I still say is the best live-action version of Barry Allen. Grant Gustin's okay, but Ezra Miller's terrible. He's totally miscast in that role. Let's see, they also have Linda Carter Wonder Woman. They don't have Adam West Batman. I guess those TV rights are with Fox. Just like they also don't have Gotham, and they don't have pretty much any of the CW shows. But they do have the Aquaman pilot for the CW show that never got made. They also made their original shows. Titans had a really strange direction. They decided to go really dark and gritty with it, which after all the complaints they got for Batman v Superman, I don't see why they would... I don't understand why they weren't getting the message, especially with the Titans, when they just had a very... Okay, a lot of people don't like Teen Titans Go, but the movie did very well. And clearly the show's doing pretty well, too. Why are you introducing this light-hearted version of the character? Everybody knows them from the cartoon when I was a kid. Why would you go that dark and gritty with a property that in every other area you are advertising for kids? It makes no sense. But, actually the best episodes... Titans was weird because the whole season didn't lead anywhere. It ended on a cliffhanger that it didn't even get close to resolving anything. But it did have really good episodes. It had episodes with 2 episodes with Hawk and Dove, solely focusing on them, which was great. The show really should have been a Hawk and Dove show, because I love those versions. They're characters you can go dark and gritty with. And they were a really interesting take on vigilantes, because you gotta watch the episodes. I cannot those two episodes were amazing. So was the one with Doom Patrol, which was basically a gateway to their own show. And the episode with Jason Todd in it was pretty good. The finale was kind of interesting, but it was all just a dream sequence. But, yeah. Overall, the show was a letdown, but with some really good episodes that I highly advise. They really should have just done a Hawk and Dove show, because they were perfectly cast. I love that. The guy that plays Hawk is Thad Castle from Blue Mountain State, and Raphael from the Michael Bay-ish Ninja Turtle movies. And I think he was Aquaman on Smallville, but yeah, he was really good in this part. The other show they did was Doom Patrol, which was a lot better. They have Brendan Fraser as Robot Man, which is perfect casting. Rita and Negative Man are really interesting, too. And they have a version of Cyborg, which nobody liked the look at first. I really didn't like the look at first. But, you get over it quick. And he's actually the best live-action Cyborg by far. The hardest thing they've had with Cyborg is making him feel like a standout solo character, even though they're trying to push him as part of the Justice League. And, this is Ray Fisher from Justice League was good in the role, but he didn't have anything to work with. This guy, it's Julian something, I don't remember his name, but his portrayal and the writing for his character are great. I would watch a show just about him. He makes Cyborg a solo character, which is really hard to do, because Cyborg as a concept is pretty generic for a superhero. I mean, even his name, it's just Cyborg. Technically, Winter Soldier's a cyborg, but there's plenty of cyborg-esque characters that aren't just called Cyborg and have the same story beats he has. But, this show did a good job making him distinct. But, anyways, on to Swamp Thing, which is the one I was most excited about when the service was first announced. The first episode, the pilot, it was pretty good. It was a pretty good horror. I mean, the whole episode was just build up to Swamp Thing coming in. He's not Swamp Thing yet. They spent the episode on Alec Holland, which makes sense. Get to know him before he becomes a plant monster. Or a plant monster thinks he's Alec Holland. I guess we'll find out which origin they go with. Another thing I found interesting, the show starts out with the scene of these guys on a boat, and they all get killed by the plants of the lake, and the black guy dies second. That's progress. Usually in horror shows, he dies first. But, they subverted our expectations. But yeah, the show's produced by James Wan, which is what made me so hopeful about it. I think he did a great job with Aquaman, and he did a great job with the Conjuring movies. He's definitely a talent to pay attention to. But back to the show. After the credits song goes or whatever, we go to the Congo where Abigail Arcane is working with the CDC, helping some children or whatever. And, they say the Republic of Congo, and Congorilla doesn't show up. Maybe it's set up for him to show up later. But, the show needs more Congorilla. Also, Abby's hair is just a normal, like, the normal actress's hair. It's not white like in the comics, like so. It doesn't look like that. It's just a chick with normal black hair. I don't know. They were able to give white hair to Dove like in the comics. I don't know why that wasn't doable with Abby. But I guess it doesn't matter. She did fine. Did a lot of modernizing, making Abby part of the CDC and stuff, which I don't really have a problem with. It was good. What was weird, it's like in the middle of the episode, they're doing an autopsy on a guy who's like covered in plants, and the plants start coming alive and attacking them. And then as soon as they deal with it, they never talk about it again for the rest of the episode. Which is crazy. A couple scenes later, they're talking about their tragic pasts, but like, you'd think they'd be talking about the monster that just attacked them. I feel like, you know, even their past, they're not as tragic as a frickin' plant monster coming alive to attack you. Like, Abby tells Alec Holland that she Googled him and how he fudged some research data to prove his hypothesis. And he's like, and then she tells him about how, like, her friend died or whatever, who was the daughter of the fancy rich people that basically run the town, the Sunderlands, who are from the comics, but I'm sure that'll come into play later. But yeah, so if I got attacked by a plant monster, I think I'd be more concerned about that. I don't think I'd be talking about my past problems. I think I'd be more focused on the present. But yeah, overall the show was really good. I'm excited to see where it goes. And that's all. Like, subscribe, leave a comment. Let us know how we're doing. We love your feedback. Goodbye.